Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eye Opener Society. Welcome to our Thursday night sermon. My name is Gary Dean. I want to thank everybody for joining us, whether you're watching live or whether you're listening to our recording. Just wanted to say thank you. It means a lot to us. We go through this every Thursday, and it really does mean something. These sermons are really important because gives everybody a little bit of some freebies, really, from both myself, from Lizzie, or whoever else may join us on these sermons. I've been going through life and I like to share some things that I have that go on inside of my head, how I work through them and all. And I've been sitting here, I think, for the last 2 days, knowing I got this sermon going. And I was trying to think of the words to get it out, to express it so that people can understand what's going on. Where are you at your point in life? Are you sovereign? Are you claiming that sovereignty? You see, I don't want to give away too much. I don't give away too much with my job, but we know it's coming to this cataclysmic end really soon. And I've been feeling good about it because I gave myself until December to leave, and I'm starting to make the word known. Doing my job for as long as I have, I found myself in a pretty unique position where I know my job well enough. And what I established through all the years, not just with this job, but with any job in this 3D world, is getting the task done. Regardless if you love your job, hate your job, in between, whatever the case may be, you're doing a job. And in some ways, it's important somehow from very low level to very high level. I take a lot of pride in what I do and I get my work done. The whole thing to this lesson here is I found at this point, I can establish my own rules, my own boundaries. I can say things and do things most other people cannot. I've been taking charge of my own sovereign being. I know where I am in life. I am to the point where it's almost time to just retire, but I can't because of this world and money. So I'm going to continue to do things and I'm going to continue doing things well, but I'm going to back off a little bit and I'm going to take jobs that are much less important. But if you started out in life, I don't know how old everybody is that's, out here listening, but you're either just starting out in the workforce or you're coming to the end. You may be at the middle. Establish yourself. When you're just starting out, if you want to be lazy, then go ahead and be lazy. But here's the thing with that, you're not going to last long enough to establish your sovereignty where you are. Now, we could apply this not only to work, we could apply it to everything in our life, the way we present ourselves, the way we take on challenges in the world, the way we present ourselves to people. We are who we are, the way we portray ourselves. Once you establish yourself through the years and you start to gain much experience or much more wisdom, you will start to learn that certain things come to you. People start coming to you with the questions because you know things more than they do. You start to get that sovereignty. Once you've established where you are in your life, how you want to present yourself, that's it. You've established what it is you wanted to do. That's your point. Now, like I said, I've been trying to get the words out and I'm still struggling a little bit because my mood has changed over the past year to someone who is so stuck in the 3D world where I'm not taking control or charge of my life the way I should be, to actually taking charge, getting things done, and doing things the way I want them to be done rather than the way everyone wants to be done. I've that level of sovereignty where I want to be. This took many years, and it will continue to take many years, uh, because we don't stop. The more we live, the more we work, the more we learn, the wiser we become. And we can start branching off. Some people hold many different positions in life when it comes to work. They may take on many different jobs in their life, or you may be skilled in just one thing, and that's your one thing for your whole life. But at some point, you got to start to look into other directions, because this life is a journey. And I had spoken about that. This journey is bringing us to new places. And every time we are in a new place, we may learn something new that we like to do, something new that we like to try. We may find ourselves in a whole nother career if that's the case. Or we may decide, you know what? I'm just going to retire. I'm going to lay on the beach. Whatever you set your goals for, this is where you want to be. Set it. Become sovereign. You are going to make the choices in life that are going to stick with you. So start. If you're starting fresh, now's the time to pay the dues. Now's the time to work hard. Now is the time to take on all the tasks. Now is the time to be that go-getter. Because what I learned, and I'm only giving advice from things that I learned. Once you put in that good solid 10, 15, 20 years, you reach that level where you're now sovereign and you could turn around and let everybody know this is my way of doing things. And this is the way I'm going to do them. It gives you a certain sense of pride. And you're always going to get that pushback, because no matter where you are, there's always going to be somebody who wants to do it their way. And you're going to be reminded of that over and over again. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm reminding them over and over again where I stand. So the journeys don't end, though, no matter how long you've been doing something. Because like I said, like I now drive to work and my mind goes to other places. And I also thought of this, and this is probably easier to explain because, like I said, that whole thought was just in my head, and I still don't know if I got it out right. But my other thing that's been on my mind is travel. I looked at a home the other day that I seen off on the side of the highway, an old farmhouse. And that farmhouse, you can tell, has been in a family generation probably for at least 100 years. I don't think the people that live there and work the farm has ever left. Now, many of us like to travel. I like journeys. I like to go out and explore and find different places. And I like to get out and, be in the outdoors and all. And we get a lot of knowledge. We gain a lot of knowledge from doing that. We see things in different ways. We see different cultures and all. But is it okay to actually stay in one place your entire life? Well, here's the thing. As I thought about it, when I seen that house, I said, those people will probably have been there for generations, their entire life, never leaving. The only plot of land they see is their farm. The only things they may see is when they leave that farm to go get, their daily essentials. But then I thought about it. That plot of land, that little spot, is under the same sky, which is under the same universe, that's under the same cosmos. We're just looking at the one spot. But when you look up and you see the vastness of everything above you, it's very easy to realize, depending which way the wind blows, you may be traveling and you don't even know it. But you're just staying in one vehicle. And I think that's good. I think that is beautiful. I wish I had more. I wish I had more ways to express it, but this is just the thoughts. I got so much going on just because I am at that point in my life now, and it's starting to come through. And because of that, I got a lot of things going in my mind, and it's getting difficult to express them. But pretty soon, I'm going to have a nice breakthrough, and I'll be able to give a better sermon than this. But I hope you get the idea of what I was trying to say, because it does affect you. It affects all of us as to who we are and what we're trying to achieve in life. So with that, I know we're gonna hear something really good, even though I have no idea what's on our mind. But as always, our cosmic fairy princess Lizzie is with us, and I'm gonna turn the microphones over to her, and let's all sit back and hear what she has to say. Lizzie, you're up.
Thank you very much. And your talk today was very beautiful, by the way. You thinking that it wasn't, it sounds like you're probably hanging out with me too much this week in my void space, which is kind of partially the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which everybody looks at this a little bit differently. From a meditative perspective, it's where you sit in the nothingness, right? And you can just exist. I call it void space because I view it from a multidimensional perspective. And the best way to explain it is when everything, because you're everything, everyone, everywhere, all of that. But it's like disguised as nothingness because it's broken down into like all the ingredients of the cake. Where you are the cake is all the ingredients of like the whole universe. When I exist in that, I kind of get lost on time and stuff, and that's kind of where I've been at this week. But when you can sit in the space of nothingness for a few days and still allow the world to exist around you, it's so easy to see everything that is dysfunctional. And it was really funny because I got into this space to process why I was just so flaky the last couple of years. And I wouldn't say that dependability was ever something that was like one of my like key core personality traits, but it was something that I could pride myself in on. And in the last few years, it just hasn't been. I just kind of this one of the things I had to let go in the chaotic life changes that happened. Okay, so from my void space, as I'm pondering this and I'm watching the world unfold around me with a million examples of everything, both beautiful and also beautiful, but maybe I don't want to look at it anymore. I come back to the structure of things. And a lot of what I talk about is an energetic structure. I love the chakra system. I love talking about meridians and alchemizing emotions and stuff. But there's also so much in science just down to the structure of our brains. Everything that you are is structured that way, both physically and energetically. I think that your body is capable of doing just about anything you can give yourself permission for, including healing. But I think for a lot of us, the way that that works, the way that we can get that permission is to understand the processes of the body. One of my current focuses right now are on the synapses of the brain, because everybody is shadow working to their heart's content, discovering so much about themselves, so many beautiful, beautiful things, and it's going so well. But something I see everywhere, because, that's what I'm going through, is this stuckness where it changes on the inside, but not on the outside. And the thing is the way that your synapses work in the brain, which your synapses are the physical and chemical junctions between the neurons in your brain that transmit information and stuff. Um, for reference, oh my gosh, why does this happen whenever I'm recording? Never other times. It's because I speak for longer, maybe. Babies develop like 86.4 million new synapses in a day. Adults create 1,000 to 10,000 synapses in a day. That difference is why babies change their personality and their habits and everything like that. They learn so quickly, is because they have the brain structure for it. As we get older, we get settled onto something that creates our personality, and then we shadow work to undo it. But the thing is we did do it this way for a reason, which will be like a whole other topic. But the point is in your brain, so many people talk about burnout, right? And then they're also trying to hold this high resonancy, pure heart, pure open heart. Well, if your nervous system is fried and your amygdala, that means your amygdala has grown larger and you are more reactive to life. Things are more scary, things are bigger, they're more threatening. You have the structure to interpret it that way. So you can clear out all the emotions and change your entire energetic structure, which does change your physical structure. That amygdala can shrink, it can repattern. Again, you're changing or building 1 to 10,000 new connections every day in your brain. It changes, but you have to give it permission and time to do so. Back to how I think you need like a I don't think you need it, for the record. It helps me greatly when I have something to call something when I'm thinking about it. So just for a little funsy side note here, long-term potentiation, LTP, that's what I just was going to call it in my head, strengthens the synapses, making sure that they all run efficiently. And long-term depression's LTD weakens the synapses, pruning unused connections. So for reference, if you were doing this from a shadow healing perspective, in your day, when you find an old pattern that you want to unpattern out, right? You can alchemize the emotions, you can dance to get it out of your body. You can also think, it's time for my LTDs to work on that. I don't need to experience that anymore. I don't need to react that way anymore. And when you're doing something that you want to amplify in your life, then you can call on your LTP and think about that and how it's time for those guys to be like working because we like this. We want to experience more of this. A lot of people acknowledge that the repeated practice of a skill like violin or whatever builds your skill, but the thing is restructuring your brain is also a skill, which requires void space. It requires your ability to step outside of all of it and just let it freaking exist. Like, oh, it's chaos. Okay, watch the chaos. Watch the chaos for a minute. Watch how your body responds. What does your body think is happening? Because that will give you a lot more information than trying to figure out what the correct answer is in this stressed out state. And it uses kind of dramatically, maybe, I don't know, it kind of depends on what your life is like. I'm always trying to evolve, so apparently I'm just always bringing on chaos because apparently that's how I think it works. The thing is whether you affect things physically, like start going to a physical therapist to change the structure of your spine, or you do it energetically, both of them are going to affect the other. And so truthfully, it just depends on what route you want to take when you're connecting with your body. Going to the doctor doesn't make you less connected to the body. I do think you should maybe look at ways that you're outsourcing your capabilities, but to each their own. Just be a little biased there. The thing about quantum healing is it's a journey, but so is going to the doctor and going through that thing. I've ended up healing so many, I'm going to call them minor wounds over the last couple of years. It gave me the perfect example of what your body can freaking do. The first one, which is the first thing that I ever attempted to heal quantumly, I cut off the tip of my thumb. It's enough that it was shorter than my other thumb for a while, but not enough that I needed to go to a doctor. Pressure and a panic attack later, I was okay. But I just opened my massage business. My thumbs were my entire livelihood. I had just bought a house and a car and started a business, and I couldn't have half of my functionality not there. And so that was also the year that I was connecting to my spirit guides at first, and just kind of learning how to do intuition. And I did not know anything about it that I do know now. All I knew is that you probably could heal your body. That just feels like that's just accurate. So I kind of went with that, and I decided that the fairies that live in the trees were going to heal my thumb. And I just went with it. And you know what happened after that? My thumb really hurt again after I asked that. And I thought about that, and I wondered if that was a bad sign, but I just went with it because fairies are beautiful. I'm going to just go with it. And I was actually massaging on that thumb a month later. Now, did fairies really heal my thumb? I don't know. Was it just my brain deciding I had permission? I don't know. The point is that that healed really, really fast. And so I kept that in my brain when I burned my other thumb. Stupid moment. The coffee pot, my coffee wasn't hot, but the coffee pot was on. It had been on for an hour. It should have been hot. So here's my stupid moment. I pressed my thumb onto the coffee pot burner, which I don't know if you know how hot those are, but it's obnoxiously hot. It's so hot I didn't feel the pain. I felt cold, and then my thumb was immediately leathery, like just white. It's like, oh, it was my finger. It wasn't my thumb. Now I can feel it, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyways, that process was so painful, and I had to learn so many things under stress in order to avoid a doctor, because I simply just wanted to see if I could. So I called my grandma. We got some medication, some like nice little green gel, and I learned about first, second, third degree burns. I learned about like what the doctor does. I learned about all of that, and then I gave my body a chance to see if it could do it itself while monitoring it extensively, for the record. Um, and what happened was it healed really fast. But something that I noticed was that every time it was about to enter a new phase of healing, it hurt a little bit more. Like nerve pain, little shocks. It was extra sensitive. But if I gave it space to just be like that, and I just didn't touch it to things, you know what I mean? I put more gel on it, I remoisturized it with lotion, a new phase started, and it healed more. And I was again massaging on it about a month later, which that was a pretty bad burn. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what degree, but it was leathery, so that was a lot. It completely grew back. My thumb completely grew back. And then I cut my finger with the can, because I'm just like, apparently, if you ask the universe to learn something, she's gonna freaking give you opportunities. It cut so deep. My anxiety ridden body thought I was dying, which, as a breastfeeding mom, what your body does is just starts dropping milk. So my milk dropped 4 times in like 3 minutes, because my body reacted like I was dying. It was not that traumatic. It immediately mostly stopped bleeding when pressure was applied. But my body is patterned that like wounds are excess medical care. Like blood freaks me out. Like it just hits so many things all in one little go that like my body just and I just sat there and I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried and I let all of this emotion come out. And then my finger was just fine a couple weeks later. That one probably could have used a stitch, maybe, but again, it was fine a couple weeks later. And I did this because I've made a lifestyle out of learning how to quantum heal my body, which I think is the exact same thing that people are doing when they go to the doctor. Because why does the medicine work for one person and not the other? What, you know what I mean? Like, there's something beyond it. And how you go about it doesn't matter, but you can't skip over it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to go through the process, learn about it, see what's working, and don't be afraid if it hurts a little bit, because whether it's a pattern in your brain or a physical wound healing, sometimes change starts with pain, because your pain is your body's patterned way of telling you that something is happening in your body you need to pay attention to. Which is why a lot of times when people go through extended periods of trying to emotionally heal themselves, it hurts more, because you've patterned to hurt right before healing. And it all comes back to the structure of your brain. When you change your behavior, you change your beliefs, you change your daily habit, the structure starts to change. It grows or weakens depending on what it is that you're doing. And that supports everything you're doing, physical or energetic. And I think I could rant like this all day. So maybe that's about all I've collected on thoughts today. Thank you so much for hearing me out.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I want to thank you, Lizzie, for that beautiful sermon. Really appreciate it. Actually, again, listening to you, I always learn something. Wanted to give a big shout out to those watching us live. Big shout out to Hannah Rose from Sound Within joining us today. Really good to see you there. We really appreciate you watching. It's always good. I know you got so much going on, and Lizzie and I, we're wishing you all the best in all of your endeavors. It's just great to have you around. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to everybody else that's joining us. And don't forget, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a sermon. And as soon as we pack it in, then we will put it up on our regular podcast platform. So those that couldn't join us live can then watch us or listen to us. So I want to thank everybody again, and we'll see you again really soon.